What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with another episode of The Rundown where I give you some very brief opinions on projects, since there's no way in hell that I can review them all. You know how it goes. We get so many projects every week, and this way I can at least give a brief opinion on some of those albums that you guys have asked about. So we're going to jump right into it with this new album from Tyga called Legendary. And honestly, I feel like if you heard one Tyga project, at least over the past couple of years, you've really heard them all, because he never brings anything that is overly unique or exceptional. Once in a while, he does come through with a good club joint or just something for the summer you could work with. I'd even say the single from off of this album called Taste is decent. I really like that beat, and it's just a catchy song overall. But other than that, there really isn't much about this, if anything, that is good. Bar-wise, it's the same old shit where Tyga is just rapping about women and sex. Very boring, no interesting concepts or storytelling around this content, so it's not like he's even taking that content and doing something refreshing with it. And production-wise, you're getting a lot of very stale shit from DJ Mustard, man. Really sounds like he must have found an old USB from years ago and just gave Tyga some of these beats that nobody else wanted, because these beats are pretty bad. Even the other producers on here aren't doing anything that's overly great, just that very generic mustardy sound all around. So that was something that really took me out of this project. Like, I don't mind if you're going to make some fun party music about simple topics, but those beats have got to hit harder than Zangief doing a spin and pile driver, man. Take off half my fucking health bar. This shit is just not hitting hard at all. It's like light little jabs, you know, those ones where you're just punching really fast and the other person's blocking. It ain't getting the job done. So these weren't even good as party songs and bangers, in my opinion. Nothing about them is exceptional. And when it comes to the lyrics, of course, Tyga is giving us some of the year's absolute worst, so I did have to take a couple down. I like that thong, but I'm not like Cisco. I don't know why we're trying to hate Cisco in any type of way, because that first album he did as a solo artist, fantastic, not gonna lie, one of the best R&B albums out. I have Canadian hoes like a nigga from Canada. It's just self-explanatory, that's nothing great there. She gon' kiss on my dick like a Hershey. Straight up 12 o'clock, your little hands on my cock. Put that grease in the pot, it's gonna pop when it's hot. I mean, these bars are just bottom barrel. Like, it really doesn't get much worse than this. At one point, he actually refers to himself as a clit ripper, and I'm a man. I don't have a clit, but that shit to me just still made me cringe and sounded painful. Like, if you told a lady, oh baby, I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna rip that clit, I don't think that sounds very appealing. That just sounds painful and nasty, man. Like you're a fucking goblin of some sorts. Maybe some sort of ogre with long, disgusting nails, like ripping their clit, man. That ain't good. Anyway, this album ain't good. 1.5 out of 5. Very light 1.5 out of 5. You probably could give this a 1, but I did like Taste. And I do, to a certain extent, understand how people could use this just for background shit at pool parties or whatever, but even still, it's not executed that well. So that's my opinion on that. Also, the other thing, just before we move on to the next one, the features on this aren't that great either. People like Gunna, Chris Brown, and Blueface, who raps like the beat is getting delivered to him 3 days from when he was recording. You know, just nothing here is great. Even the features aren't helping out much, so that's too bad. But the next on the list is Future's EP Save Me. And this is one that I have even less to say about. This is really Future going with that Hendrix style, more smooth R&B laced joints, and he's really just simping on some of these tracks, like on the song, what's it called, Please Tell Me, he's begging a woman if he can buy her Chanel and all these finer things. Then you get the song Xanax Damage, where you're getting some light guitar on the beat that's kind of cool. I mean, production-wise, I thought this was alright. It just kind of has those smooth vibes, but Future himself isn't doing anything unique or exceptional, just like with Tyga. You already know what you're going to get here. I feel like where this is a short EP, it certainly works better than a long-ass Future project, but as someone who drops so much music on the regular, I don't even know how Future fans still get excited, man. It's just the same shit over and over. He really isn't taking too many chances for the most part. Of course, you are getting that overdose of auto-tune from him, where he sounds like Soundwave from the Decepticons on songs like St. Lucia and Love Thy Enemies. The usual Futurisms about codeine, woe is me type of stuff. His life is so hard. It's like, I don't know if Future is ever going to grow up and step his content up or step his lyricism up in any way. So, you know, I just didn't think this was great either, man. So far, we're 0 for 2. I would give this a very light 2 out of 5. As I said, I do like some of the production. You might get some catchy moments to sing along with the vocals and the hooks, maybe some funny lines here and there. It's just not interesting at this point. We get too much from Future, and this certainly didn't do anything to make me excited for more music from him. But moving on, up next we have Skepta with his new album Ignorance is Bliss, and I was actually looking forward to this one because I did like Konnichiwa. That had crazy bangers on it, a lot of catchy hooks. I just thought it was a really solid project, and I believe it was an honorable mention the year that it dropped. But this one is a little bit of a step back. The production throughout is a lot of very woozy synth stuff. Sometimes it works, other times it just feels a little bit cheap and chintzy. But I do like it on some of these bangers, like No Sleep and Pure Water, and Bullet from a Gun is a standout as well. You're actually getting a video game style beat here as he's rapping about a wide variety of topics, like from the love he has for his baby girl to dealing with internet trolls. He's really just free flowing and getting a bit introspective on this track. That was a standout, so I thought that was good as a single, and I did enjoy that. Now, I wouldn't say the lyricism on this is absolutely crazy. A lot of it is just dealing with the typical stuff like his accolades, haters, and his come-up story. But those little moments of introspection, like on Bullet from a Gun, really did help uplift this a bit for me. Because if you've been watching my channel, you know I like that shit when artists dig deep and get a little bit personal. Even on the song Going Through It, he's breaking down some of the issues and stress that he's dealt with in his life and in the rap game. So that was another moment that helped out. But what really hurts this album more than anything is the features, man. The features did more damage to this shit than Skepta or the beats, in my opinion. Like, I think having no features on here or better ones would have gone a long way, because these ones were just brutal. So as much as I like Grease Mode, that's the other single, that is an all-out banger. You get Nate Smalls on here, who just sounds like he stepped out of the Travis Scott cloning facility. Just another watered-down auto-crooner. I could have done without that shit. You got Cheb Rabby delivering a stiff and robotic performance on Love Me Not, although I did like the UK garage feel on the production. Very bouncy and fun, so you know, I could still deal with it, but I thought the vocals on that hook were pretty bad. And then you have Jay Huss, surprisingly, just sounding completely uninterested with his feature on What Do You Mean? I'm a big Jay Huss fan. I love that album he did, Common Sense, but I don't know, I didn't think this was his best feature. It really sounded like he just mailed it in or phoned it in, man. Not a great feature from him. And even the BBK Posse Cut Gangsta is pretty much carried by JME's verse. All the other verses on there did nothing to intrigue me or make me have anything to say about them, really. So yeah, man, the features did damage to this shit. He should have taken them off or gotten some new ones, in my opinion, but it is what it is, man. He put it together how he did. And overall, man, I'm going to go with a 3 out of 5 here. Like, I've seen this get some pretty rough reviews. I don't think it was really that bad. Certainly not as good as Konnichiwa, but there was enough here that I think it's good and worth the time, because Skepta did his thing in some spots, man. It's just those features really were fucking him over. And lastly, scrolling down to the number 4 spot, not the number 4 spot, but just the 4th one in the list, we have T Grizzley with his new album Scriptures. Now this one had me intrigued once I saw that Timbaland was doing all kinds of production on it, because Timbaland came through with some bangers back in the 90s and early 2000s especially, man. I'm talking about some of that beat club shit he did back then in particular, but his beats on this were just watered down. Like, other than the title track, nothing here really had that Timbo feel. There wasn't a lot of those interesting percussion choices, some of the sounds we've heard from Timbo. And I understand, like, he's changing his sound up a little bit to keep up with the game, but if I was getting a bunch of beats from Timbaland, I would want some of those crazy, jangly Timbo bangers, man. Not some shit that sounds like anyone else could have made it, because what's the point? So the beats on here, you know, some of them just had that very generic synthy sound. I was very let down by that because I expected the Timbaland production to be better. And as for T Grizzley's performance, he does have some nice lines for a while, like on God's Warrior, where he raps about taking your chain politely so he can sell it without scratches on it. And he has another line on there where he says you can call him Martin because he stays with the Tommy, a reference to the show Martin, which is a classic sitcom from back in the 90s. So he really is mostly giving you that hard street shit, rapping about how he'll jack you can't fuck with him, he stays strapped, da-da-da-da-da. And most of these songs are just free flow verses that don't really have any focus, real deep storytelling, or anything like that. I actually felt like this was more of a mixtape than it was an album, because it just really wasn't sticking as far as content and concepts and outlined ideas, good songwriting. Just really a disappointing project, honestly, because T Grizzley, I think he can rap when he wants to. There's some times where he sounds really good, but between all those issues I talked about, then you're getting some really bad auto-crooning tracks and spots that are just terrible. I don't know if I even wrote the titles of them down. I didn't, but there was like 3 or 4 of them that were just brutal. I don't know, man. There really isn't much more to be said about this one, other than when he calls out Eminem. He says something about how people are saying Eminem is the best in Detroit, but if you believe that, he'll kill you and kill him. I doubt that's even going to be on Eminem's radar. We'll see what happens, but I don't know, man. This one, I'm going to go with a very light 2.5 out of 5. I did like Some of the bars, I think he can rap decently. The beats, like I said, meh. I did like Scriptures, that was good, but I don't know, man. Timbaland and T Grizzley coming together in the studio, I thought they would have came out with something better than this. This is a very light and generous 2.5, just because I think he can rap, and if he did maybe get some more interesting beats and focus his rapping a bit more, he could make something good. So maybe I'm being too generous. Maybe this should be a 2 as well, but no, I'm not going to give it that. I'm going to give it 2.5. It really does just sound like a very average project and a mixtape more than an album. So anyway, man, that's what I think about these 4 projects. Really didn't have too much to say about them. That's why I didn't do full reviews for them. But let me know in the comments section what you think about them, if you agree, if you disagree, or whatever you want to say. Of course, you also want to make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.